This is the DEI-ALLIANCE Spotlight presented by Rising Coaches, the largest coaching tree in basketball. Get locked in for more relationships, development, and opportunities at risingcoaches.com. My name is Aaron Proctor, Director of Basketball Operations for Lamar University. On today's BeReady Family Spotlight, we have my dog, newly minted assistant coach at Arizona Compass Prep in Arizona, Lester Stewart. Coach, how you doing, big dog?
I'm doing good, man. I'm just glad to be on here with you, bro. You know you my man, 100 grand, so it's a good time.
And before we get started with anything, I want the world to know that I was bald and had the beard before Les. So, I just think, it's good. It's a form of flattery. So it's all good. That's why you my dog. That's why you my man.
Yeah, I seen you do it. I was like, I gotta try it now. You know.
As the young people would say, that is all cap. So we're gonna go ahead and begin, man. Go ahead and tell the people your story, man. The people that may not be familiar with you, man.
I'm a Chicago native, South Side. From there, from Chicago, I went out to Indian Hills Community College in Ottumwa, Iowa, and there I had gained and found my love for wanting to be a basketball coach. The head coach there, he was a great mentor and someone that still to this day that I look up to and call on for advice. And then from there, I went to Idaho State University. I spent my last 2 years there as a student assistant coach. Like I said, my journey of coaching, I kind of, like I said, left Indian Hills and just that's what, I know I want to do. And then after that, I graduated, which was a big accomplishment for my family. It was the first person to graduate. And I got a job offer to teach at an elementary school, and I took it. I was in Pocatello, Idaho. I was, a 20-something-year-old, fresh out of college, and just trying to find my way. And there, I started out, coaching like sixth graders, which was a fun time. We had practices. I ran them like they were in college, and just tried to get them to get that same love for basketball that I had, because they're kids, and so they were so fresh that they were like sponges. And I started training kids, and I tried to get assistant jobs at the three high schools in town. They had three high schools in town, and all of them said no for like 2 years. I tried every time they had an opening, they just kept saying no. And I just, kept training kids. And then I got an opportunity to go out to an Indian reservation in Fort All, Idaho, at a school called Chauvin High School. And, I had knew the athletic director and the head coach. And, he said, he asked me, we knew each other. He had seen me working kids out. It was a couple kids that, from the reservation that used to come train with me. And, he asked me one day, he said, you want to come out here and coach? And I was like, yeah, of course I do. This was in 2011. And I said, yeah, of course I do. And he was like, okay. And, I didn't hear from him for, about a month and a half. And then he hit me like when school started and said, hey man, you still want to come out? I was like, yeah, of course I do. He's like, well, I'm leaving. He said, I'm leaving. I'm going to take a college job. And I was like, what does that mean for me? And he was like, oh no, you'll be fine. And so left. And about a couple of weeks later, I got a call from the new athletic director because they were going through a change. And he said, hey, Lester Stewart. I was like, yeah. He was like, I got a contract for you to sign. I said, okay, cool. And so, it was about 15 minutes outside of town. And I go and, go up there and, they had a contract, and I'm reading the contract and it says varsity boys head coach. And I was like, nah, that's supposed to be assistant coach. And he was like, nah, that's not what, Pete told. His name was Pete Conway. Shout out to him. Because he definitely changed my life. And I was like, no, I was like, are you sure? And he was like, yeah. He's like, school board already approved it. Just waiting on your signature. And so, I signed it. I couldn't sign it fast enough after he said that.
Right.
And after that, I was, like I said, I was like 28 years old. And a lot of these dudes were not, I wasn't much older than most of the kids on my team. And so, a lot of people told me that going out there to the reservation was going to kill my career because
Mm.
they didn't like outsiders and they didn't, and it's going to be tough and you're going to have to deal with all this stuff. And I'm like, I just kind of was like, whatever, you know. And that first, I was there for 2 years, and we went 39-10 in 2 years, back-to-back conference championships, district championships. Came within 1 year. We came within a game of winning the state title. Um, so it was just the love and the passion that they have for basketball that it just kind of fit. And that was my first time being I was a head coach of youth kids, but never high school, and so it just kind of raised my profile a little bit in the area just because I went out to a place that they call quote unquote tough.
Mm-hmm.
And did some great things there. We got banners hanging in the gym still to this day, 10 years, 10 plus years later. The reservation adopted me and my kids. So it's like, when a couple times when I was living in Idaho, I would go back out there and they, Stewart, coach, what's up? They all show me love and show my kids love. And, my daughters, they got a chance to grow up in that gym. Like I can remember, my 12-year-old, she, I used to have to, take her to practice with me. I had to schedule potty breaks in between, diaper changes and whatnot, because she was so young, and so we have a break in practice. I go checking diapers and all that. So they grew up in that gym, and from there I was afforded another opportunity to coach at a school that kind of needed. They needed, they had won 5 games in 5 years total. And, they called me and, people told me again, hey, it's a tough job. We went there and we didn't have our record wasn't great, but we won like 8 games in that season. And those people thought we swept the rival, which they hadn't done in like 10 years. And then we won a road game, and all these people were so excited. And they were like, we haven't run a road game down here since 2007. And I was like, okay, so it was just kind of, it was kind of a like a culture shock in a way because, I had just came from a place that, we used to win it. And I'm like, we're not winning enough here in my eyes and, my standard. And then, a bigger school came and, that I had a school that I was wanted, and a lot of the kids that I trained, because like I said, I started out training kids, and probably going into that, I had got a call from a bigger high school, and they called me, and I had some really good players and there, and I did that for 3 years. I was went through a year, it was really good. Made it to state, so in 6 years as a high school coach, was able to go to the state tournament 3 times, which that's something I hold very I'm proud of that. I'm really
As you should be, man. I mean, especially taking a couple of different programs that were tough and kind of pouring some success in it. What was obviously coaching change for your first job kind of precipitated you being the head coach there, but was there something that was enticing about taking over programs that were kind of down, and was that something that you were drawn to?
Yeah, I mean, just my whole upbringing, how I was brought up, and just where I'm from and my family, like nothing was handed to me, so it was always fighting for something. And for like the longest time in my life, I was always like, okay, he can shoot, but he's short, or he can do this, but it's this. So it was always like a but. And so for me, it was like, I've always had a kind of like a chip on my shoulder about just proving people wrong or doing something that's never been done before. So like for me, that's steady a constant motivation as far as like, hey, I know, I kind of relate to a lot of kids like that. And,
Yeah.
Going to junior, coaching and, after, high school, I wanted to do something different because I'm like, the only thing I didn't get was a state championship. That was the only thing that I didn't get in 6 years as a head coach in high school. But I'm like, it takes a lot to win a state championship. Like,
Oh yeah.
gotta, the shots got to be made. You can't miss layups. Missing a free throw at a crucial time. So it's so many factors. So it was like I felt at that time I didn't have anything else to do at that level, and so I was afforded the opportunity to go to College of Southern Idaho, CSI, one of the most historic junior colleges in history. Got a chance to work for another guy that changed my life, Jared Fay. That's a dear friend to me. Still, gave my first chance and went there and my role was very he knew how to what my strength was. He was like, he's like, you seem to be really good with the guys because my first probably couple of days there, the guys just they just kind of gravitated. But I kind of understood because I went to junior college and I went to Indian Hills, a very similar place to CSI, both historic places. So I knew what the expectations were and I knew what kind of guys were, that they had. And so, we could relate on a lot of different levels. And so, he's like, hey, I just need you to help me with the guys. I need you to recruit. I need you to work out guys at night. And so, that's what I did. It was a short role, small role my first year, second year. Got to do a lot more, like hands-on stuff, helping. And, my first year there, we played in the national championship game. We lost by 3. That still haunts me to this day.
Of course.
It still haunts me. We lost by 3, but it was a great experience. And if anybody in the JUCO world has ever played or coached in the national tournament at Hutch, it's a beautiful experience. And so having that, and then the next year we came back. We came close. We were within the game of making it to the national tournament. We didn't. And so from there, then I. Coach was able to get a D1 job, and in this business, new coaches come in and they kind of want to do their own thing, and I wasn't able to be a part of the future plans there, but on a brighter note, I was able to get a chance at Casper College in Wyoming and work for Sean Gutty, who in 3 years I was there with him for 3 years and. Did a lot of great stuff. And I actually got to see him as a first-time head coach and really help him and see him, really grow, and that, he's probably one of my closest guys,
Mm-hmm.
in the business. He's a great dude. So, I was in Casper, Wyoming for 3 years and, I don't know if anybody's ever been there, but it's a beautiful place. It's just not like a ton to do. But when you got somebody there that, you guys can bond over, both being, having the same goal and trying to, help young men achieve their goals and to, win basketball games at the end of the day and make sure they move on properly as far as, grades and stuff. And there I actually got a chance to do more than just, quote unquote, recruit and be a relationship guy, helped a lot of guys with their academics. I was able to do, every scout, 83 games, 83 scouts.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
It gave me a chance.
That's JUCO life.
In JUCO life, you learn you wear so many different hats. And so for me, it helped me become a more well-balanced coach.
Did your high school experience were you able to draw from that, or what were you able to draw from being a high school head coach going
as a high school head coach? I was able to help the two head coaches I worked for. I was able to help them in many different ways just because I had been in that situation. I've been in close games where you had to make sure you had to play ready to draw up. I've been in times where you had to, making sure you're making adjustments on the run, knowing when to sub. So there were times during the games that, coaches, they would lean on me. They ask me a question. And so I felt, that really gave me a lot of confidence just because they could have, like at CSI, we had a great staff. So could have asked anybody, but, definitely asked for my input. Working with Sean is just him and I. And, hey, coach, what you thinking here? And just for that, because, they knew my background, my pedigree, so to speak. And so I felt like, having that, having 6 years as a head coach, that's invaluable experience no matter what level you're coaching at.
No, man, I think that's a great point. There's nothing like having the clipboard and you got to be the one to draw it up, or you got to be the one to make the decisions. You are the face of the program. So, I think regardless of whatever level you're at, high school, college, professional, if you have head coaching experience, you got head coaching experience, and you can draw on that. I want to pivot to BeReady, and so I obviously I know we knew of each other, but we didn't really know each other prior to BeReady. And for me, BeReady was a great opportunity to all these guys that I had known of or I had kind of met in passing. It was a great opportunity to get to know a lot of these guys and their personalities. And in your case, getting to know you, knowing just how far I need to stay away from you and not let you influence me. But I mean, go ahead and kind of just touch on, what BeReady was like for you and how all of your, I guess, kind of like your cumulative experience up to that point was something that you were able to kind of use and bond with and kind of gel with different people.
So it was, I probably gonna drop some names because I just want to show people respect that
Right.
helped me because you don't get anywhere alone. But I knew AB3, man. Shout out to him. He and I've known him. We went to graduated from the same college, so we're both alumni. And so he texted me the first time that they had it, and he had Coach Stoudemire on there. And
hold that thought. I had always grown up and just kind of just living my life. I always said, man, I'm pretty sure I'll never know anybody from Wyoming or Idaho. And then I get into coaching and I immediately meet 3 people who went to Idaho State.
Yeah.
Like Morrow, AV, you. Like I was just like, man, what is this?
It's crazy. And what's funny about it is my JUCO coach, he went to Idaho State as well. So it was funny, but so yeah.
My bad. Go ahead.
No, you're good. So AB sent the text out and got the link, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna check it out. And the thing about it was, it was during the pandemic, of course, and I was just sitting there, and I was like, man, I had something to do. I'm just in the house or whatever. And I was like, oh, I looked at my phone, put out my laptop, and there go Damon Stoudemire, he going over, his whole deal at Pacific and talking. And so I'm just, I'm just watching, and have it. And then, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And so then, it was another one. And I get a text from Lance Irvin. He said, man, you better ask a question. And I was like, I'm like, okay, but I'm like, I don't know what to ask. And so the whole time I'm sitting there waiting to ask a question, but I'm also thinking what to ask. And so, Lance Irvin, he told me, he's like, every time you get on the Zoom, make sure you ask a question. And I think that's kind of what helped me, actually break out of my shell and, get to talking to people because, like I said, I knew you, but, and as far as BeReady as a whole, it's a real family, I went through some stuff, over a year and a half ago lost my dad, and the whole fam was there for me in so many different ways, like so many different ways that I'm like, man, it was more than just people just like on the Zoom talking basketball and all that. It's like people actually like care for one another. Like you don't want to see your brother or your sister down. You actually want to, whatever it is, if it's a conversation, whatever, and they were there for me, and I appreciate all of you guys, like everybody in the BeReady fam. You guys are special to me, because like I said, it was some, the pandemic was a wild time, and we were there for each other, dealing with, there for me, and it was like, it was just, I can't really put in the words when, it's like literally BeReady family. It's literally a family, and I love all you guys. No matter, even you, Proc, even you. But it's just,
I wouldn't expect anything less than a comment like that from Legend Stewart.
but yeah, and I got close, and with the BeReady YGs, I got to shout them out. Mikhail, 2Bs, Brandon Branch, Anthony White. That was, Mikhail and Anthony were both guests. Tommy Strine, so I gotta shout them out. Those we were part of that interview process, which that was a whole different thing, because you're live in front of Lord knows how many people, because but it's 100 in the Zoom already,
yeah,
and the people that was watching on YouTube. So I'm just,
I felt I was nervous for y'all, man. I was like, man, that's because you're doing an interview basically for the world. Like anybody can go back. I mean, I know people. I do it from time to time. Go back and look at those YouTube videos, and like there's your warts and your everything that you're celebrated for. It's for everyone to see. I thought you guys will really stand up for allowing yourself to be put kind of on Front Street for that, and not only that, taking the feedback from it, the criticism from it.
And that's and BeReady has helped me ever since the day, like I said, ever since seeing Coach Stoudemire literally going through like his budget, how he's running his program from that point on until today. It's things that I carry with me, that I've carried with me since that day. It's always something, and I don't think a day goes by I don't talk to at least one of the family
members. No, that's real. That's real, and I our friendship has kind of grown.
Oh yeah.
Just outside of obviously BeReady, but just like that's what it's there. That's what it was there for. There were many nights that we didn't even talk basketball. We just talked about situations, life situations, lifestyle situations. What would you do if you were this?
Yeah.
What would you do if you were in that?
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
I said, yeah, we talk about more than just basketball, life, music. Your taste in music is very, it's an acquired taste, I'd say the least.
And so with that, I'm gonna say we appreciate having you on the BeReady Spotlight, Family Spotlight. In all seriousness, man, you've been really helpful to me, because I think we share kind of similar journeys, similar pathways in trying to navigate, just trying to progress, professionally and personally. We both have daughters, just families. We both have experience being away from our families while we're on the job. So I appreciate you for that, and you shared a lot with me. So in addition to being on the Family Spotlight, man, I just want to say thank you for being a good dude, man, regardless of what anybody else says about you.
Thank you. And you too, man. Proc, I remember we met in that convention center in Minnesota back in 2019, man. And it was just it's crazy how life just kind of kept us connected, and just how you're a great dude, man. I want nothing but the best for you. I know we joke a lot, but you probably one of the best dudes in the business that I've come across, and I'm glad that I can call you a brother and a friend.
Appreciate you, dog. Appreciate you, man. Uh, it's getting late, man. You know, I'm not gonna. I feel a little bit. I'm a little uncomfortable with all this, the back and forth, the compliments and all that. So I'm gonna just kind of let it die at where it stands. But I appreciate you hopping on with us, man, and
For sure. Thank
look
you,
forward
Bob.
to seeing. Oh yeah, man, no doubt, no doubt. Definitely look forward to seeing what you guys at Compass Prep have coming down the pipe, for sure. All right, big dog.
All right, brother.
And with that, you guys remember risingcoaches.com. Make sure you tap in with the website, get locked in for more relationships development, coaching opportunities, professional development, resume building, all those different types of things. Risingcoaches.com. Aaron Proctor, Director of Operations for Lamar University men's basketball. And until next time.